Good morning. Welcome to Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening Sunday morning service. Whoever you are and wherever you're from, you're welcome here. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Lay all your fears and all your doubts aside. Let go of all the hurt you hold inside. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Can you feel the love of all who've gathered round? You are worthy of this gift of love right now. So much love flowing through this morning. Let us know where you're watching from. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Well, who'd have known that who you are is enough? And who'd have known that you could be so loved? Well, we knew. Now you know. Yes, we do. Now you know. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Open your heart and prepare to see the love, receive the love, be the love this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad you're tuning in with us from wherever you are. You are welcome here. We are a beautiful, thriving, loving community teaching the New Thought principles of the Science of Mind teaching that focuses our attention and our intention on what we want to see in the world. We believe in one power, one presence, that is God the good, and that it's everywhere. Which takes me right to this beautiful song my friend Andy Anderson wrote, inviting us to see the divine everywhere. Everywhere I go, I see God in the beauty of the trees. I see God. Oh, God is you and me, so beautiful to see. I'm living in the moment, it's all there is. I'm alive, awake, and aware. There's good flowing everywhere. That's all I am, all I'll ever be. I see God, so everywhere you go, just see God in the beauty of the trees. Just see God in everything you do. Just see God express the beauty that is you. Just see God. Oh, God is you and me, so beautiful to see. I'm living in the moment, it's all there is. I'm alive, awake, and aware. There's good flowing everywhere. That's all I am, all I'll ever be. So I see God. Turn to someone online this morning in the comment section as if you're sitting by them in person and pretend as we reach out through the internet and greet our neighbor. Turn to someone and say, you see them, you see their light, you see their love, you see the truth of them. Say good morning to someone that you're used to seeing on Sunday mornings, or maybe reach out to someone and tag them. Let them know that this is a time to join and be uplifted this morning and choose to see the divine. In the beauty of the trees, just see God. In the beauty that is you, just see God. And the truth that's me and you, just see God. Yes, good morning, good morning. We hope that you are taking this time this morning to be conscious in your co-creation. We're going to talk more about that. Conscious in our co-creative nature to create intentionally. And so part of our practice in doing that is to move mindfully into a time of prayer and meditation. We like to wrap that in song and music. And so I invite you to just be comfortable in your chair right here, right now, and just rest. Begin with resting your breath in your heart space, breathing right into your heart space. Excuse me. Right here, right now, we have come into the presence of God, and our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now, right here, right now. We have come into the presence of God, and our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now. So I rest in this stillness. Take a moment of silence, and I rest. And I breathe right here, right now, into this space. Beloved God, infinite intelligence, divine love, divine wisdom, the all and all. I feel this mighty moving power, this presence right here and right now, surrounding me, moving in as and through me, connecting me to all that is. My heart is open to the love right here and right now. My mind and my heart are open, and I am a willing instrument for divine love, for divine creativity, as I co-create my experience, my individual personal experience and my collective experience with all beings on this planet. I speak my word this morning conscious of this co-creative nature that I embody, that we all have, And I speak this word claiming for us an intentional use of this power moving through us. I say yes, Mother, Father, God, yes, to this intelligence, this power, this wisdom, this strength, this love, this ability to co-create a world where everyone thrives. I hold fast to this vision. I hold it in my heart. I know that I am an integral part of this new earth unfolding. For this I am certain and grateful, and I keep my mind and my heart stayed on Spirit. I keep my mind and my heart serving this vision by paying attention to my attention and where it goes. So right in this moment, my attention is on my intention to be this instrument for good, this vessel of love. And so I say thank you. Thank you for this community that is taking this truth into the world, this community that is living from this point of power of unity with the one. And so I know that this service this day is indeed blessed, that we are indeed blessed and a blessing. I say yes, 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 yes. Thank you, God. I release these words knowing they are so, and I invite each and every person in just a moment to allow the music to simply wrap around you. Feel the indwelling presence and claim for yourself right now, right here and right now, where you would like your attention to be. What is your intention for your life and for our planet, for every living being? Hold that thought in this moment. Be in the energy and the feeling and the knowing of that as the music wraps around and carries that intention. We envision it. We envision it. We feel it.
Good morning. Today I am reading Guide for Spiritual Living, Science of Mind. It says, faith overcomes rejection. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Romans 12:2. There is a power in the universe that honors our faith in it. There is a law in the universe that exacts the uttermost farthing. Ernest Holmes, The Science of the Mind, page 32. It says, undoubtedly unsolvable mysteries and the boogeyman of fear haunt life's paths. To be non-conforming to these fearsome patterns of the world, we turn to the spiritual antidote of faith. Courage is her secular sister with a common parent that is spirit. For good reason, hero stories fascinate us because they are faith journeys into self-discovery. The hero's journey through challenges, hovering as in a cloud of death, facing fright and antagonists, yet come away triumphant. as if by divine intervention. The great treasure procured is self-identity. Arianna Huffington, whose book Thrive was rejected 36 times, is such a maverick and a hero. This was the path of her second book before eventual publication. Today, she is the head of Huffington Post empire. Faith saw her through. As Huffington experienced failures, so do we. This is the nature of the creative enterprise we call life. However, the heroes give us a simple message: don't quit. Faith will overcome rejection. In your moments of challenge, keep remembering to affirm your faith in God. You may need to do it more than once. And our affirmation for today is, may you know the wings of faith are ready to carry you into the province of your greatest success.
There's a power in the universe that honors our faith in it. Yes, Dr. Ernest Holmes, and thank you, Angie, for that reading. There's a power in the universe that honors our faith in it. Definitely going to dive into that today as we talk about our creative nature, our creative nature. So, Happy Father's Day, by the way. Before I go too far into the talk, I want to make sure and say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and all the father figures out there. I love that today's daily word talked about honoring all of not just our fathers, but our father figures, those that were great examples of strength, guidance, wisdom, patience. My daddy, he was definitely examples of all those things. And I have a Harold Snow story to share in just a moment. But I do want to say Happy Father's Day and thank you to all of the father figures out there that helped us along the way and continue to help us have strength and guidance and wisdom and patience. And those faculties are very important in what I'm talking about today, and that is using this law of mind action, using the law of mind action. But first, let me back up to last week. I talked about our giving nature, and I quoted Dr. Ernest Holmes from the Science of Mind textbook and said that was part one of a two-part series. So here we are. I'll read the whole quote for you now. The quote goes like this: God is love and God is law. The love of God is omnipresent. The law of God is omnipresent. The love of God is the divine givingness. That's what we talked about last week. The divine givingness, the eternal outpouring of spirit through its creation. Now here's part two. The law of God is the law of cause and effect, which says that we can have only what we can take or what we can embody. Jesus taught that it is done unto us as we really believe. And a belief, I'm adding to this now, a belief is just a thought on repeat. So let's look at the ways that we can step in there and make sure that we are keeping our thinking in the direction that we want our life to go. This law of mind action can really be law of cause and effects, law of mind action, all the same thing. Law of attraction, it's also been called, because we live in an attracting universe. Life is a mirror to our predominant feeling and thinking state. That's a good way to say it. The law of mind is really just the outpicturing of our predominant thinking and feeling state. So we have the opportunity to trust it as well as we would trust the law of gravity. We know that if we throw something, it's going to fall to the ground, right? And some of us, when we get clumsy, know that we fall to the ground. So we trust the law of gravity is going to work, regardless of where we are, whether we like it or not, whether we want it to or not, it's going to work. The same is true with the law of mind. Input equals output. And so I like the way that one of my teachers, Sheikh Kabir Helminski, he said it this way in his book, Living Presence. He said, what we give our attention to, we are unconsciously serving. What we give our attention to, we are unconsciously serving. So I'd ask you this morning, what have you been giving your attention to just since you woke this morning? How about over the last week? What have you been giving your attention to? Have you been serving? Because what we give our attention to, we are unconsciously serving. So have you been serving fear or faith? Have you been serving hopelessness or hope? Chaos or peace? What have you been serving? Where has your attention been going? The good news is, back to Dr. Ernest Holmes, I love this quote. He said, what thought has done, thought can undo. What thought has done, thought can undo. So that's the good news. So even if we've been unconsciously serving fear, unconsciously serving hopelessness, unconsciously serving chaos, unconsciously serving pain, we can turn and be in conscious co-creation for the opposite of that. intentionally co-creating is actually giving birth. I want us to think about it that way. Intentionally co-creating is actually giving birth. One of my daddy stories that comes to mind was the first time that I saw a calf being born. I always wanted to be by his side. I didn't care what he was doing, where he was going. If it was usually work with him, but I didn't care. I wanted to be right by his side. And so he told my mama that he was going to check on a cow who was giving birth and in the pasture, and I wanted to tag along. I was just so excited to go and see this, whatever was about to happen. I didn't know. I was probably, 6 or something. I was little. And I went, and there's the mom, and she's in anguish, right? She's bellowing, and she's obviously in pain, and it's freaking me out. And then the baby is like coming out and all messy and gooey and goopy and bloody and smelly, and wow, that's a lot for a little kid. You're like, okay, ew. So yeah, giving birth can be messy, right? Giving birth can be messy. And if you think about the birth of the oak tree, you're going to first have the decay of the cute little acorn. You're going to have the decay of that. If you think about the beautiful butterfly, of course, you're going to know that comes from the goopy, messy, yucky bug soup that used to be the caterpillar. And so all of these things, this birth of the new, it can get messy. We're creating a new earth right now. We are creating a new paradigm, a new way of being individually and collectively, and it is messy. It is messy, this giving birth. But we can't go back to the old. We can't go back. We must keep growing. And growing's messy too. The initial birth of a new thing and then continuing to grow around that new way of being. It's all messy. Life gets messy. And it takes patience to navigate this messiness. Patience. I had a wonderful example of patience. This past week, we took our nephews to the beach. And Neo is 4 and Eli is 2. And it's about an hour and a half to the beach from Angie's mom's. And so it was, as you can imagine, are we there yet? Are we there yet? How much longer? Where are we at? Where's the beach? Where's the beach? Where's the beach? But it started before that at like 7 o'clock. Neo was dressed with his backpack. He had his backpack on. He calls it his backpack. He had his backpack on, and he was saying, ready to go, Mama. And then he came over here by 8, and he was ready at the door to go. And we weren't until a couple hours later. And the whole time he's like, are we ready yet? Are we ready yet? Are we ready yet? And so I think about that. He's 4. A lot of times we are that 4-year-old with life. Is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet? I don't like the messy part. Can we just be to the new paradigm already? I just want to be to the new earth already. Can we be there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We're in the middle of the new unfolding, and it's messy. But that's where we have to keep the faith and trust that there is a power in the universe that honors our faith in it. Even when we get sidetracked or rejected or feel like we're rejected or feel like we've had a setback, we have to continue to step forward, continue to keep on keeping on. Thinking about the kids in our lives, they are such sponges, aren't they? Our subconscious is being programmed when we're these little guys, little gals. We're being programmed. And so our programming, our subconscious belief system that we do 95% of our living from came into being before we were 10, I think even before we were 7 or 8. And so if you think about it, it's easy for us to go back to that 4-year-old. Are we done yet? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? But it takes patience. It takes paying attention. It takes persistence to move from the old paradigm, the old way of being, individually and collectively, into a new way of being. A new way of being. And so let's go back to that subconscious mind. The subconscious mind controls 95% of our life experiences. The subconscious mind, which was programmed when we were little, unless we do some deprogramming and some reprogramming. And positive thinking is great, but it only takes you about 5% of the way. Did you know that? Just positive thinking alone only accounts for about 5% of a shift in that subconscious that's running the show. So we have to implement other strategies. We have to use our other tools for reprogramming the subconscious. We've talked about lots of tools. We've talked about a body check-in, a body scan, which is a great thing to do, paying attention, because our body and our relationships are 2 of our best teachers, let me just say. So paying attention to our body, really checking in and saying, where do I feel discomfort or release? Where do I feel tight or constricted? Where and what do I feel in my body? We've also used the tool in our community of the complaint-free challenge, where you go 21 days consecutively without complaining. That's a tall order. And if you start complaining again on the 20th day, then you start again at day 1. So that's a tool that we've used, and a tool that we talk about nonstop at Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening and in this New Thought teaching of Science of Mind is spiritual mind treatment, or we simply call it treatment or prayer treatment. And it's affirmative prayer. It has 5 steps of remembering and reminding ourselves of the truth. We recognize there's one power and there's one presence, and it's God the good. There's a power in the universe that honors our faith in it, remember? So that's that step 1. Step 2 is we know that since this divine power, this love and this law is everywhere present, it is present in, as, and through us. So that's step 2, reminding that we're one with the one. And step 3, we move into that space of embodying it, of being it, of claiming it. I open and I allow the abundance to flow in my life, or I am moving and being as an instrument of peace and love. Whatever we want to claim in our relationships, our health, our abundance, our world, we move into and claim in that 3rd step. And in the 4th step, we take our gratitude into the world. We release our gratitude and we say thank you in advance, because we are convincing ourselves it's already so. Convinced it's already so, we say thank you. And then step 5, we release and we let go. We allow it to be so. So this is one of the main ways that we talk about a lot as far as reprogramming our subconscious mind. Dr. Ernest Holmes calls this type of transforming power, he calls it the alchemy of spirit. The alchemy of spirit is when we trade in confusion for peace, or we trade in fear for faith, or unhappiness for happiness. Or you could say peace neutralizes confusion. Faith counteracts fear, and happiness and joy transmutes unhappiness. This is a powerful tool that I encourage people to use every single day. Start by writing your treatments out, then speaking them aloud, then sharing them with a prayer partner, or maybe start with a prayer partner and help each other along the way. But use this tool. It is a powerful tool that literally redirects thought patterns in our brain. Literally redirects thought patterns in our brain. As within, so without. So we have to take care of creating the inner atmosphere that we want to see on the outside. Meditation is another tool. Meditation is a powerful tool. I talked last week about the yawning, moving into that place of breaking the loop. And the neuroscience study of Mark Waldman, he talked about how yawning is a way that we move out of the imagination center network of the brain, or out of the thinking network of the brain, that we get stuck on a loop in one of these areas. But yawning or mindful stretching or meditation can take us back to a centered, what he calls the salience network. So it can take us back to a balanced place. Another tool, so we've got body check-in, we've got complaint-free, we've got treatment, we've got meditation. Another tool that we talk about, and I'm reminding you of this morning, is mindfulness. Mindfulness. Staying awake and aware to what is going on, paying attention, mindful, taking each step mindfully aware. Staying awake and aware to our environment. So that, of course, makes me think of one of my favorite daddy stories. I don't know why it's one of my favorites. I guess just to show his dedication and what an interesting life he lived. But he had lots of stories. But my daddy would tell the story about tending to a tobacco barn. And we raised tobacco when I was little, but his father raised tobacco as well. And in those days, it was much different. And now it's much different too. So it's changed a lot over the years. When I was growing up, you turn on a thermostat like you would in your house, and the heat cured the tobacco. But when my dad was growing up, he said that they had to literally build a fire and keep it going to keep the heat. So for all of the weeks that the tobacco was curing, a fire had to be lit and stay lit. So as a teenage boy, his job was to stay at the barn at night and keep the fire going. And so he would get a 2x4, 2 inches, 4 inches board, and he would lay on a 2x4 instead of the ground because it was more uncomfortable. He would lay on the 2x4 so he couldn't get so comfortable that he would sleep too long and the fire would go out. Think about that right now in our lives. We can't get comfortable again and fall asleep again as a world, as a society, and let the fire go out of transformation. There's a fire burning, and we have to keep it burning. We have to pay attention, stay awake to the changes that are happening in our own lives and in our world, and how we can be a part of that. I was so impressed by his dedication to his family, to helping taking care of his family, because that's how they paid the bills, were those crops. And he would lay on that board and make himself not get too comfortable. So we have a call to action to not get too comfortable, to not go back into a sleep place. And so I have one more tool for you this morning. That's a new tool that I haven't talked about before that will help us stay awake and aware, seeing the divine everywhere and being part of the solution of the world that we want to see. And that, again, is from the neuroscience author and teacher and speaker, Mark Waldman. And his tool that I'm going to share with you is a bunch of crap. Literally. It's a crap board. That's what he calls it. Sorry, that's what he calls it. If you don't like that word, it's literally CRAP. Conflicts, resistance, anxiety, and procrastination. So I'm inviting you to use a new tool, a crap board, a board that you place words on, phrases on, situations on that talk about your conflicts you're having, your resistances you're having, your anxieties that you're feeling, and your procrastinations. And on this board, using this board, he talks about how simply becoming aware of negative thoughts. It seems weird, it seems counterintuitive that I'm telling you to bring your negative thoughts out so you can see them, but I am. Because he says that simply paying attention, becoming aware of the negative thoughts, just by doing that, our anxiety level about them drops. So it decreases your anxiety level just by recognizing and pulling out of the darkness, out of the shadows, out of that gut place where you feel it already, but you're trying to push it down and not feel it. You're trying to depress those feelings, which can turn into depression if you're not careful. And so he says just bringing them out in the open is a world of difference, because all of a sudden your anxiety goes down just from realizing it's there, instead of trying to pretend and hide that you have conflicts, that you have procrastination, that you have conflicts, that you have resistances, that you have anxieties, that you have procrastination. Trying to hide that you have those things or pretend they don't exist at all is exhausting. It's exhausting to walk around pretending like you got it together in every single moment for every single scenario. Relax and breathe. We are growing beings, constantly giving birth to a new paradigm, and it's messy. And sometimes if we're not careful, we can find ourselves serving through our attention, fear and hopelessness and dread and overwhelm. But what thought has done, thought can undo. So we come back and we breathe. We don't want to amplify the conflicts, the resistance, the anxieties, the procrastination. And so we just name them. We just call them out. And what you'll find is immediately in the beginning, you'll fill up your board. But then the next day you'll have less. And the next day you'll have less. And the next day you'll have less. Because you're calling it out. You're letting it breathe, and then it dissipates. And then you find yourself back in your power. So breathe that in for a second. Finding ways to deal with this CRAP in our life is important. It's very important. It helps us find and use our voice. Another week goes by and I find myself preparing for another talk. And every time I say to my wife, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to not talk about it. So I'm not going to not talk about it. I don't know how to talk about anything else besides the most massive civil rights movement we've ever seen, and all the messiness and all the pain that goes with it. I don't know how to not talk about the fact that there were 2 men found hanging in trees in California, and then the following week, a neighborhood in the same vicinity with nooses hanging from the trees. I don't know how to not talk about Rayshard Brooks in a drive-thru at Wendy's and then running away and being shot in the back. I don't know how to talk about the fact that we had a beautiful protest for Black Lives Mattering, on Tybee Island, which is our home away from home, so many beautiful, loving people there that we adore. I don't know how to talk about the fact that right after, within an hour after we finished this peaceful protest, a 15-year-old young black man was beaten. I don't know how to not talk about that, so I'm not going to not talk about it. I'm going to talk about it because, you see, we're co-creative beings. We are co-creative beings, and we're being called into this conversation, whether we like it or not. And I like that it's happening. I like that the conversation, I like that the conversation is happening. I like that people are being pushed, all of us are being pushed out of being comfortably numb in some ways. I don't like the pain and the death, obviously, but I like that we can no longer keep our eyes closed, that we can no longer not talk about it. We are co-creative beings. We are imbued with a power to co-create a life that works. I've used this teaching in my own life to turn my life completely around, to go from not being able to buy tacos on Taco Tuesday, I might add, they're $1 a piece on Taco Tuesday. I've been able to turn my life around from not being able to buy tacos to being able to vacation in beautiful places and have a wonderful home and a wonderful partner and a wonderful life. I've been able to turn my own life around from having relationships that were toxic and dysfunctional and painful to having the most amazing, most beautiful marriage I have ever dreamed of. I've been able to turn a longing for a community into a dynamic, love-filled community. So I know that this power and this presence moving through all of life, this co-creative nature that we are blessed with, it works to create a life that works. And I know that same law of mind, this same power in the universe that honors our faith in it, I know that that same law works on the global collective scale. And we are being called to the conversation, to not back down, to not be quiet, to continue to be part of this conversation, to create this new world. We're in the middle of creating this new earth. We can't stop now. It's messy. It gets yucky. We say, are we there yet? No, but we are in the middle of the unfolding of the new. We can't stop now, and we can't be silent. It reminds me of the reading that I'm sure you've heard from the Lutheran pastor, Martin, back in 1946. And it goes like this. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. Speak out. Be part of this conversation. I love that there are lawyers walking around at the protest, handing out their phone number, saying, if you get arrested, call me, I got you. I love that one of the marches that I was part of a couple of weeks ago, I looked beside me, and there's Senator Jeff Jackson, and I was like, how you doing, Senator? Thanks for being here, right? People being part of the conversation. I love my friend Jay on Tybee Island holding this huge sign that said, silence is betrayal. I love people being part of the conversation, using the law of mind individually and collectively. Your dream for your life and for the world, it may feel daunting, it may feel unattainable. I get it. Dream it anyway. I get it. Did you know that they built the train tracks over the Alps between Vienna and Venice before there was a train in existence that could make that trip? But they built it anyway. They knew one day the train would come. I know one day, and that day is now. This train of equality is at the station. Your dream for your life and for our world may be daunting, feel unattainable, but dream it anyway. Build it anyway. Believing is seeing. It's not the other way around. Remember that. Believing is seeing. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up on our better world. Don't give up. Let your inspiration fuel your vision and motivate your actions. Trust and the spiritual laws governing the universe, responding to our predominant thinking and feeling state, and choose to stay the course, do whatever it takes to continue to stay grounded, to stay centered, to stay in your heart, to be committed to seeing the divine in every being, and choosing to stand up and be loud when they're not letting that divinity shine through. We can be it. We can see it, and we can be it. We can create it. We can trust that there is a power in the universe that honors our faith in it. And so, to share more on that this morning, I've invited one of our chaplains, one of our practitioner students, and the creator of our Prosperity Moments, Janice DaCosta, to share with you about trust, the importance of trusting.
Hi, this is Janice DaCosta, and I am here to share a prosperity moment with you. Prior to COVID, my last prosperity share was how I manifested $10,000 on my way to my dream trip to Cairo, Egypt. And just to give everyone a quick rundown about that, I took Reverend Christy Snow's prosperity class last year. I learned all about affirmative prayers. Did an affirmative prayer to take a trip to India, manifested the trip. Fast forward, go to the airport to board the plane to India, and I was rejected. Visas weren't in the system. The trip was a no-go. All of the travel agents and airline agents said, maybe next year you can take your dream trip. There's no way you're going to be able to go, anywhere like that in less than 24 hours. So I had two choices: trust the law and know something greater for myself, or spend 10 days in my bedroom depressed watching Netflix. I chose to trust the law and do an affirmative prayer. And fast forward 23 hours later, I am boarding a plane to my number one destination, place of all times, which was Cairo, Egypt. And I actually got to stay across the street from the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Sphinx. So on the way to Egypt, I was telling everyone, when you get in that state and you're manifesting, manifest more, like milk it. So I milked it. So I'm on the plane and I'm on this manifestation high, and I manifested that I would get $10,000 and it would be waiting for me by the time I got back home from Egypt. Fast forward, on the way home from Egypt, get a call from my boss. Long story short, there's an offer letter waiting for me. Get back to the office and I see that the difference from what I was making versus what the offer letter was for was exactly $10,000. So here's part two of that prosperity moment. I had been in a toxic marriage for 23 years. And when I took the class with Reverend Christy Snow last year, one of my affirmative prayers was that I wanted independence, I wanted a new life, I wanted a divorce, a new place, and I wanted to be able to have the income to sustain the type of life that I wanted, independent of my husband. And that $10,000 did just that. Now just stop to think. If I hadn't trusted the law and I was in such a detrimental place, I was just rejected from a trip to India. Had I not trusted the law and knew something greater for myself, which was the springboard to doing an affirmative prayer for what I needed to actually sustain an independent, happy, healthy life, none of that would have happened. So I just want to say that before you give up on anything, make a choice to trust the law. Make a choice to know something greater for yourself, because that's the moment when you'll see the universe open doors for you where there were once walls. And with that, I want to say, can you say prosperity? Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Isn't she inspiring? Always, always, always so inspiring. I love all of her stories and the way that she took this teaching from just right out of the gate and applied it to her life in amazing, amazing ways. So thank you, Janice, for continuing to inspire us. So I'm grateful for Janice this morning. I'm grateful for our board. What are you grateful for this morning? I'd like for you to share in the comments if you feel led to, something you're grateful for today. We're grateful for our prayer team that continues to inspire us every day. Make sure that you join our CCSA community group page. Anyone's welcome to join, and they go live. Our prayer team goes live every day with a reading and a meditation. So we encourage you to join in on that. And we are grateful for our kids. Weren't they amazing last week? That was so much fun. We will do that again soon. So say with us, affirm with us, our kids this morning. We see you, we hear you, we appreciate you, and we love you just the way that you are. And that goes for all of you. We see you, we hear you, we appreciate you, and we love you just the way that you are. So we're moving into our conscious giving, our time of conscious giving. So I invite you to say our affirmation with us. Divine love, moving through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the good in my life. I am thankful, so grateful in this moment right now. Yes, I'm thankful, so grateful right here, right now. I am thankful, so grateful in this moment right now. Yes, I'm thankful, so grateful right here, right now. I always like to encourage you to place your hand on your heart as you sing along, or let the words just wash over you. Just feel into the gratitude. What are you grateful for this morning? Whom are you grateful for? As we praise it, we raise it. I am thankful, so grateful in this moment right now. Yes, I'm thankful, so grateful right here, right now. And so I say thank you, beloved. Thank you for this community, for this service today, for all of the tithes and offerings that allow us to continue doing this work of awakening humanity to its magnificence, awakening us all to our divine potential so that we can live intentionally our co-creative nature, creating a world that works for us and for all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know for each person giving a financial gift this morning that they are blessed in the giving. For as we give, we receive, pressed down to overflowing. I know you cannot outgive God. Thank you. And so it is. Please join us in our closing song. We let the love wash over us. We just let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. And so when we feel it's daunting, when we feel the fear or pain, we just remind ourselves to open our minds and our hearts and feel the grace. We let the grace wash over us. We let So we let the love wash over us. We let it carry us into the world. We live from that point of peace. As we sing our love, dance our joy, live our peace, I'm going to send you off that way. Make a decision every day. Bring ourselves back to our heart space and create intentionally with power. Yes. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. Sing my love. I sing my love into the world. Sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. Dig deep and find that joy, y'all. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. Dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. That's the way I like it. That's the way, I like it. That's the way, I like it. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I live my peace. I dance my joy. I sing my love into the world. I live my peace. Dance my joy. I sing my love into the world. That's the way I like it. That's the way, I like it. That's the way, I like it. I love you. I bless you. I thank you. Have a fantastic week. See ya.